So this is me starting something I've been thinking about for a long time, and today's the day. Today's the day. I'm very excited, but I'm also pretty nervous, and a few other emotions, which that's what this is all about, okay? They're emotions, and they're healthy, and we're going to talk about them. So let's talk about the fact that I'm having to basically kick my perfectionism to the curb today because there's no nice studio and fancy lights and edits, and it's just me, it's a camera, and I don't even have money left for groceries today, right? So let's talk about why that's happening. Let's go into this. And welcome to the Dream Thread. This is my idea, the Dream Thread. So this is where I'm going to share my dreams with you, and we're going to also hear what other people's dreams are, because the world is doing this, as you know, right now. And this is the question for you, right? How much do you believe in your dream? Now think about that. Just think about that for a moment. How much do you believe in your dream? Because the answer lies in your actions. What are you doing? Is it an idea that just sits here? Are you taking actions? Do you even tell people about it? Or is it a secret? How much do you believe in your dream? Because this is the Dream Thread. I'm going to share my dream with you. Like no bars held, like it's done. You're going to understand me, who I am, what I'm trying to do, why I'm here, what's difficult, what's not, and what solutions there are, and what's working. Okay, so in order for me to actually make my dreams come true, I have to believe in the person that's building them, right? That's me. That's me. I have to believe in who I am, and that's my journey. I didn't start with a lot of self-belief, to be honest, and that's a story that'll unfold in this series. But the real question is, how much do I believe in the version of me who will manifest the dream into being? That's the question. And so ask yourself the same, because the good news is you're not alone. A lot of us are alone in our dreams. No more. This is about us. Welcome to the Dream Thread. Okay? So let me tell you about who I am. So my name is Ryan, and I'm also known as the Soul Mechanic, and I'm a holistic dating, relationship, and intimacy coach, and I'm also a VIP coach. So I coach VIPs in that space. And I'm also a musician, but today we're going to focus on the self-development piece. Okay, so this is about addressing the fears that govern our lives, where everyone is afraid to show their true, authentic self. You know, they're scared to show both their wins and their struggles. People want to just show the highlight reels, right? My life's amazing. And a lot of people are struggling. I know, I'm a coach. I get to help people behind the scenes. And so my question is, how do we just show up better for each other? Because that's how life works. It's a spectrum, right? And it's the same with relationships, like the spectrum. And people tend to hide the stuff that they think will get them disqualified as an option in love, right? And that can lead to people being in a partnership down the line where you're looking across at a stranger and you're like, who are you? You know, like you're wondering what happened. And I believe that the answer is we all need to really own our stuff and show up confidently and unshame. We need to unshame reality, because I'm a coach. I'm very good at what I do. Right now, I nearly got evicted 2 weeks ago because I didn't have enough money for rent, right? I had to borrow money 2 days before. Otherwise, I was going to have nowhere to live on a new place that I've just moved to, right? And I'm going to tell you a bit about that because I need you to understand how my brain works, how my mind works, how my body works, and how I'm achieving what looks like an amazing life. But you need to understand what it takes to get there and how much I'm achieving in order to get there. So let's talk about this metaphor, right? I've got a metaphor I've created to help you understand my story. So picture this. This is a metaphor. Let's say that I wanted to be a pilot, right? Which is true. When I was a kid, that was my dream. So just imagine I wanted to be a pilot and I couldn't get any real support to make it happen, right? It's expensive to get a license and to train. And then when you get a license, you've got to keep flying to get the hours up. And if you don't have a job to do that, it's really expensive. So you need to fly with people. And then when you do that, then you've got to work your way up. and you need access to airports, you need access to airplanes, you need access to fuel, you need access to the runway so you can take off. Like there's a lot of stuff that it takes to become a pilot, right? So think of your life and think of my life in exactly the same way. So think of that. I just wanted to be a pilot, right? But instead, my life has been about building the airport, like metaphorically speaking, right? I had to build the airport after so many rejections and so many times of being let down and being misunderstood by what I'm trying to do. And I think that's a very strong analogy for life, because as an entrepreneur, which is what I am, you're going to get rejections. Like all the people that we love, the Richard Bransons, the Stephen Bartletts of Diary of a CEO, like you name them, they've all been turned down hundreds, thousands of times. The key is they kept going. We're here talking about hiding who we really are. They showed up. So let me help you understand something. That's what this is about. And I'm sure you can see, as I said, perfectionism right now. You can see it. I'm thinking, oh, I'm making mistakes. I need to edit them. I'm just going to post this because it's crunch time. Let's go back to the airport. So now the airport's built. I've done so much over the years to get to this very point where I am, right? So it's time to hop into my airplane, right? Which I've also had to build metaphorically. What's the airplane? It's the skill set. It's the coaching that I do. It's the music that I make, whatever it is. I had to become that person, right? I had to build the plane that's going to allow me to say, yeah, show me the opportunities and I'll show you what I do. Or should I say, give me the opportunities and I'll show you what I do, right? So it's time for me to now fly. Give me the plane, give me the runway, let's go. This is us today, right? So this is where I'm at, and the plane's already moving, right? It's already on the runway and I'm running out of runway, right? But I'm not stopping. I cannot stop, right? So what's going to happen in the next week is going to determine the rest of my life in a big way, okay? So let's explain this. It's a lot of work for one person to build a dream, right? And so far, a lot of you will know the grind, right? And it's all done in-house, like building websites. I've had to study course after course after course. I've had to make social media posts, make content, which I'm creating and I'm posting, right? I've got to be coming to sell my services and engage with people and pay bills and then cook every day. And I've got to be cleaning and managing, my own mental health as well in this modern world where everything's super triggering right now and it's all anxiety driven in this burnout culture. And we're trying to maintain our relationships and friendships. We're trying to earn money to make sure that we can stay alive, and all the systems that we need for our businesses, they keep running. They have to keep running, and now they're being cancelled because my website literally went down on Sunday. And I'll explain to you how I dealt with that, because that could have been a meltdown moment, right? But here's the thing, though: people, they mostly don't go after their dreams because of fear. Fear, oof, the F word, the other F word. And it's not really the fear of failure. That's the thing. You hear about it, but let's talk about that. The fear of what other people think as they do it. I think that's one of the big fears we have, right? And I hear the voices myself too, right? People are like, oh, if he's got no money left, right, how good can he be at his coaching job or as a musician? Or why is he always moving around? Or why doesn't he just get a job? One of my favorites. And I'm like, guys, I have a job. In fact, more than one, and I'm very good at my job. The money flies out faster sometimes than it comes in. And can you be surprised? Look at how much I have to do on my own. So that's the unshaming I'm talking about. I know a lot of people are in the same position as me. And people are losing their jobs right now as the AI is just devouring job roles in every sector. Not some, every sector around the world are going to start disappearing. These jobs, I know people personally whose jobs are disappearing. And they not even realize that it's because of AI, but jobs are disappearing. And to be honest, I believe that as humans, we are now being forced to realize that whatever our dream is, right, whatever our passion is, that's actually what we're here to do. And this is the time. Of course, don't leave your job, like if you've got one, have security. But are you spooling over for the next few years where you might lose your job anyway? Or are you building a dream? That's why the dream thread is here. So instead of playing merry-go-round, chasing where the money is, I think it's time to find your passion, make it work for you by making it your work, and get paid very well for it. That is my goal. That's my dream. And to be honest, it's already happening. I'm on the runway, as I said. I'm moving. It's happening. So I think what people need to remember is like life gets messy. Right now, look around you. Life gets messy. And things take time. Dreams take time. It's like intimacy, you know? Like whether it's in love, which is what I'm teaching, right? Intimacy in relationships and dating, whether it's in community. Intimacy is like, it's about taking time to go deep with someone, to listen before bringing your ideas, which may not be what's needed at the time. This happens a lot in relationships too, but it happens a lot. People try and help me, they help others, but they're not helping because they didn't take time to understand the ecosystem of what they've entered in. So I think that's very important. And also most of the thoughts that people have these days are not really their own thoughts. And that's a whole other level. But it's getting more obvious to notice. If you stop and think about it, when someone says something to you or gives you advice, or when people are sharing stuff, maybe even online, is it really their voice or they've been hijacked with the energy and they're just repeating and copying and pasting? Because if you had your real voice and you knew what it was, you would know what your passion is, you would be very clear about it, you would actually know what your truth is, which is likely to be not anything to do with negativity or beating down on someone else or anything that doesn't involve love and compassion. I believe that is the truth that we all have in us. Everything else is an outer filter responding and parroting. So that's a whole other conversation we won't go into today. But basically, my point is I think it's a skill to slow down, right? And to be able to see the human being in front of you. And that's what I'm hoping people watching this will see, to see the human being in front of you. And instead of making snap judgments or thinking, oh, because the brain does that. Why doesn't he? What's going on? I don't understand. It's like, how about we just get to chill and get to know each other's stories? So that if you do decide to support, that you're not just adding to the sabotage. And that's usually embedded, right, in the same fears that I mentioned before. Because my needs are very specific and I'm trying to make them as clear as possible so that it's easy to help me. And I think it is easy. Out of the thousands of people I know, it's not impossible. So I'm inviting you today to slow down with me. Slow down with me. During this new series, I'm calling it the DreamThread. To get to know my story, and maybe through my story, you'll get to understand your own story a bit better. So let me tell you a bit about my current situation, okay? As you can see, I've written some notes so that I can just get through what I need to and get back to work. So let me tell you about my current story. And when I do, I would like you to pay attention to my energy and my state, right? My tone, my emotions. And ask yourself, how would you feel, or how would someone else in that same position feel? And I think we will hopefully demonstrate what I mean about this group fear that is sort of wired in us anyway, but it's a choice how you use it. Okay, so my energy and my tone as I tell the story is probably going to be something along the lines of more calm, more grounded, more focused, right? It's going to be about determination versus what people may experience, right, in the same situation. I might even be a bit excited when I talk about my story and my situation. Whereas I think other people in the same position would probably feel anxiety, they'd probably feel panic, probably high stress, not low stress, high stress. They'd probably have a lack of focus. It would probably be a bit messy what they'd be up to and probably escalate the situation and cause more issues. So that's why I do what I do. I help others, including VIPs, as I mentioned, to tap into their inner wisdom and the confidence that they need most when they need it most, right? Because when you're panicked and stuff is going down, that's the time you really need to be able to be calm and actually make smart decisions. and not look back and go, oh, that was a stupid thing I said. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like, it's better to operate from a sense of sort of like Jedi energy. So that is what I teach people. So let me tell you my story. So, as I said a couple of weeks ago, um, yeah, I just, some clients weren't able to work with me this month because they're also exhausted, so they had to pause. And some people owed me money, couldn't actually pay me any money because they got fired. As I said, right? It's like, and I'm laughing because it's that ridiculous. I'm like, and I knew it. I was like, something's wrong because it shouldn't be that difficult for me to find a couple of $100 here and there, especially from clients or people who owe me money. And I was like, something's not right. So then I realized, okay, this is what's going on. I spoke to quite a few people, right? So I've just moved to a new place, a new island. It's called Tenerife. It's cheaper than Ibiza, and that's one of the reasons. And I'm now here in this place just for a couple of months. I move out at the end of this month. I don't know where I'm going to yet, by the way. And I was like, I'm struggling to find, it was weird. Something's wrong. So anyway, I figured out, I was curious. I was like, this is not about me, right? I know I'm good at what I do. I know people need my help, but everyone is just so distracted. And even the people I know who I called are going through things, and some of them don't have money available to work on themselves or to lend me money, right? So two things. I'm like, okay, one, I need to know more of the right people who have money, first of all, VIP, right? Two, I need to remember that this is not about me being broken. I'm actually functioning very well considering, okay? So that's where the story really got tricky 2 weeks ago. So eventually, luckily, someone lent me some money to top it up, and I saved my space because literally I was like a day and a half away from being kicked out and had nowhere to go on a new island where I don't really know people. That was my reality, right? So in that time, as I said to you, I was still grounded. Yes, it was uncomfortable, and there were times where I got triggered. And the way to describe triggering, right? Think of it this way. It's like, imagine, you have a gas stove with the spark igniter, right? So what happens is, imagine you're calm and everything's cool, and then the thing sparks and it goes, that's being triggered. So the difference is, do you choose to let that fuel and that gas, right, come through your system and fuel that trigger, and then you've got a fire on your hands. Now things are on fire, right? Or do you notice and go, oh, something's, oh, okay, I'm triggered right now. I should be. I could not have a place to live in a few days. Okay, I'm choosing to not get lost in the flames, and I'm not going to feed that. I'm going to be curious and go, okay, what am I going to do about it? And then I use the tools that I have, that I teach my clients, to come back to center very quickly, within minutes, and then go, okay, what's the plan? The plan is very clear when you come from a clear mind. And that led me to saving my home for the month. So think of the work I do like that, right? I help other people manage their own gas stoves so they're not burning down the house because other houses are burning. That's what happens, right? You see someone else on fire, then you panic, and then you start your own fire. And you're like, dude, that's someone else's fire, not yours. Wow, I should write that down. That's a great way of putting it. So, back to my story. So that's where I've been, right? Then on Sunday, I woke up and I saw my website being deactivated, right? And that's because of non-payment. So I'm like, my banks, my phone, like all these bills are bouncing and things are being cut off. My tools that I use to work, they're being cut off, right? And guess what? I'm staying calm. I'm trusting myself. I'm using my tools, and I'm going, I got this. Because it's very clear what I need to do now. I have a dream. I'm living the dream. I've built the dream. So it doesn't make sense for me to leave all of this and then go and try and find a job. Where? How? And how long would it take me to get paid in the new job when I need money yesterday? So I'm like, I'm good at what I do. If I had a new client, a new VIP client, I would be already done. I'd be fine for the next week, right? So that is where I'm at, and that's the story I wanted to share with you, because I managed to still stay grounded and clear. I made great content, and I've been on the phone talking to people, chasing up on leads, trying to get more clients. So I'm working. Whereas I know not a few years, quite a long while back, in the same situation, I would have been frozen in bed, pretty much depressed, and just not want to face the day. And a lot of people I know are in that space. And so I'm here to go, let me teach you how to manage the fire, manage the stress and the anxiety, because that's happening. It's not our fault. We're not broken. We're responding correctly to the situation. We just need to know how to manage it better. Okay, so think of it like, it's like EQ height calibration, right? It's like when you're flying and you hit turbulence. A lot of people hit turbulence and then they panic and then they stall, which means you crash. You literally fall out of the sky. That's what is another way of looking at this. I teach people to raise their EQ equilibrium and height calibration. So it means that when you hit turbulence, you don't crash out. You actually understand, oh, something's wrong. Oh, okay, air pressure, right, and you know what to do. And then you keep flying, and then you rise above the turbulence, and you're now at the new level of yourself that you haven't reached before, maybe, right? Same with relationships. I help couples do that. So that's one way of looking at it, right? Now, the problem is a lot of us, we're stuck at a certain height, and we crash out turbulence, and it's done. So I'm like, okay, how do we keep safely scaling up so that we can manage the heat at a point where you haven't been able to before, but because of that, you now graduate to the next part of your life, the next level of your life. You can become the international traveling intimacy and dating and relationship coach who's also a musician, who actually helps people who are, in high places and actually is good at what he does and still believes in himself enough to know that this reality is going to be my reality moving forward, and not to crash out and then go and move into a hostel and then get stuck again for another 3 years trying to spin. It doesn't make sense. So that is my strategy. So what I want to tell you about what I've been working on in the last few weeks, because that's what happened as well. I needed to find the new way of working that wanted to come through me. So I trusted and I said, no, the plane needs to be upgraded. So I've been doing upgrades on the plane before taking off, and that's what is happening today. I'm telling you about my new upgrade. So the new model of my coaching business is called Dojo XO, right? So think of it as having a personal trainer and having a personal gym for your love life, right? So think of your personal gym for your love life, where I work as your personal trainer and identify which skills you need to improve, and then create a training plan, which I will guide you through. So it's more like knowing about the reps that you need to do rather than reading and talking about them. Because as you know, muscles don't grow by reading about lifting weights. It's the same thing in the sense of these behavior patterns that I rewire and help people with their relationships. So I also use transformational techniques, including a blend of hypnosis, NLP, and EFT to rewire the unconscious patterns that most people are playing out from their childhood still. So it's very powerful stuff. If you think about people like Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Peter Crone, he's amazing, Dr. Gabo Mate, like they're all doing very similar work. So we're in the same space of helping humans break through, right? The turbulence. It's very, 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 very satisfying work. And that's why I'm like, I'm here, let's go. The dream. Let's talk about what is my dream. The dream, the big dream. I'm talking about the pinnacle, right? So my dream is to be the VIP coach for leaders, artists, entrepreneurs, people in show business. And I'll even tell you some of my wish list for my clients, right? People like John Mayer, Drew Barrymore, Pamela Anderson, because I've watched documentaries and I see them talk, like Pamela Anderson, for example, really interesting woman, really lovely lady, and such an interesting story. But she's been married, I think now 5 times, divorced 5 times. And as she speaks, and I hear a story, like a personal trainer can look at a person's body and go, ooh, okay, right, I can see where you need some work on your upper quads or whatever it is, and your legs or whatever it may be. I can do the same when I look at someone and observe someone. As I said, slow down, listen, pay attention, observe. It becomes very easy to see the patterns, which is why the people I mentioned are good at what they do. They've been doing it for decades, right? So when I see people like Pamela Anderson and Drew Barrymore and John Mayer speak, I'm like, wow, they are such awesome people. And as long as they're not in a committed, loving, happy relationship right now, I really believe I can help them because that's what I do. And I would love to just get in a conversation. That's how I work with everybody. I first have a chat, get an idea of what they are looking for and what their desires are, and just be their personal trainer for a while and help them get to the next level. It's that simple, right? However, imagine someone else saying this. They'd be petrified. A lot of people would never speak so confidently about their dreams. Well, I'm saying, welcome to the dream thread. I've said it, it's out there, right? And I'm going to show you how we're going to get on trying to get a hold of these people, right? And I actually already have clients, by the way, in this VIP space. And I'm sometimes flown in to work with them, right, in their own private locations. And it's kind of like a custom live-in retreat, right? And what I love about this work, as I said, it's like you don't need to work with me often or long because it's a bit of work and then you go off, I give you the tools and you crush it in life, go and do your thing. Then they'll come back maybe after a year or more and go, right, I'm ready for the next level, right? I love that kind of work. And it's very, very bespoke and it's very confidential. So I won't be talking about my clients publicly unless they want to. Okay, so that's my dream. And I'm like, I know someone can help me get in front of people like that. It doesn't have to be these people I've mentioned. It can be anyone in these spaces. They can be CEOs and people successful in business. A lot of women are successful and they're struggling to find a partner, right? Or they have a partner, but it's imbalanced at home and they get frustrated. That's the stuff I work with and I help. So even this, if you're hearing something that resonates, please connect me with someone or get in touch. And as you can see, the sooner the better. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, basically, coaching people from all sorts of backgrounds is the key to my new dojo, right, concept. And so it has been set up like that, and I even will bring team members on, as I mentioned. So get in touch if you'd like to work in this space, and maybe you'd like to work with me. You don't have to have any pre-training in the subject matter, because I'll be doing some training. So to make it easy and fun for people to acquire and develop the core skills, that's how I've done this dojo concept. It's going to be fun, it's not going to be work, and it's going to feel good, like after a good workout, right? And these skills are the ones that will transform like your romantic lives. You know, it's like training the muscles in the gym, but this is training the mental and emotional muscles, which are most important because your software is making all the decisions for you. The actions are secondary. So it's super powerful work. And I'm also going to be bringing people onto my team, as I mentioned. So if you're interested in working in this space, get in touch. Okay, so let's get to this week's goals so that they're as clear as possible, right? So today's Tuesday. And as I said to you, my financial situation is not great right now. And it's the 23rd of the month. At the end of the month, I need to move out and find a new home. And I need to have money to do that. Not only that, I have bills that are bouncing, and you know what it's like. The bank takes money, they put you in this negative balance, and then they punish you for that. And I'm going to get hit like another 60-something euro fine tomorrow because of my bank going into the minus. It's really annoying. So I need to clear that, which is basically get fuel into my plane and get rid of excess weight because I'm about to take off. As I said, the runway is live. I'm on the runway. I'm moving. And that runway is getting shorter. And I need time and money to make that runway longer, and we need more speed so we can get this off and we're going to fly, and you're going to fly with me. So this week, my goals, I would like, and I think it's good to have goals when you're in a business. So specific goals. So I need, as I said, more speed and more runway to finally take off. So I think that a solid number for this week, so it's Tuesday, is 3,000 euros that I would like to raise by Friday, by the weekend, so that I can keep my business running and I can keep my business tools and get them reactivated, and I can find a home for next week because I want to move into a long-term home now for the next year at least. I'm finally settling down again because I've been living out of a suitcase because I lost my home, as I mentioned, in Ibiza a couple of years ago. So that's goal number one, 3,000. I've got the services, I've got the tools in order to do that, right? To be hired. Next goal is to find at least one VIP client this week, right? Just that, who's ready to transform and step into that transformation. So if you know someone who is successful. And by that, I mean they have the ability to work on themselves. They can pay for it and they're ready to level up. Then please connect us, see if we can get on a call as soon as possible so we can see if it's the right fit. Very important. I only work with people who I know I can help and that it's a right fit. This is not about forcing anything. It's about the right people coming together for the right reasons. So very, very important to mention that. So I feel like out of the thousands, and I mean thousands of people in my network, I just need to find the people who understand what I'm building and who can help or collaborate. And the ones who need what I am offering and who are also ready for action. That's as simple as my dream can be right now. The next step is that, right? And so let's talk about what I offer briefly. The link is in the description, so you can go and actually see what I offer in detail at the moment with my relationship and dating and intimacy coaching. Okay, so I offer a single magnetic reset session. So one session to really just activate you in a way that you're like, wow, where have I been living? And then off you go and have fun with those tools and keep training right on your own and get yourself to a new level. And it's powerful because you can do so much in one session when you know which muscles you're working on, right? Metaphorically speaking, right? Then I've got a 3-session magnetic series package where we work together for 3 sessions and we can go deeper and we can even have things like practice partners. So if you're struggling with confidence, maybe we'll get someone in the room so you can practice with them. If you're a man who struggles with women and you're maybe scared or intimidated by them, we're going to get a woman in the room and you're going to train together. And so you can actually practice in front of a woman, right? As opposed to read about it, as I said. This is transformation, and I'm so excited about this dojo model. It's going to be so cool, right? Then my next offering is the VIP Magnetic Mastery Package. So that's like, as I said, it's for the VIPs, the people who really are at that level and they need the discretion and they need the focus and the dedication. And sometimes, as I said, they fly me to where they are, or maybe they'll fly to a location or fly to me and we'll do like a retreat. There's so many cool options because I tailor my plan, my training plan and my services to the VIPs. So if you know anyone in that space, and as I said, I've named some people already, it may be interesting to think about doing it now, but I had a whole strategy about getting in touch with people like John Mayer, Drew Barrymore, amazing, amazing people, Pamela Anderson. So that's it. People like that, and even in any other sort of sector, let us know, connect us. I would love to chat. So that's it. That's it. So thanks for stopping by, and welcome to my new series. It's called The DreamThread. What I'll be doing now is I'll be taking you along with me, right, as I continue to build this. This is episode 1 of many to come, and you're coming along the journey with me. We're going to also help other people build their dreams. We're going to talk about other people's dreams. I've got some very exciting people in my world that I want to help their dreams come true. So stay tuned for that. One of them is actually building a free university if you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur with 6-7 figures. So literally, if you want to go into earning more than $1 million, there's free education that's actually already available now. So DM me if you want the link, and we'll be talking about helping her build that dream and how she's doing it, and a few other people in my network. So if you're sticking around, we're going to also try and get a hold of like people like Simon Squibb, and you may already know about him because he's the guy who goes around and asks people, hey, what's your dream? What's your dream? And he's been doing it with Richard Branson recently and some really cool people like Mark Manson, and he's had some other very, very interesting people on there as well, like quite a few. So we want to try and get a hold of him because this is his realm. And I love the fact that he's got a children's book about education, and there's so many things. So this is where I'm at now. I'm showing up in my space, but publicly. I can't keep struggling with minute things anymore. I've built my airport. I've built my plane. That's what I've been doing. And I needed focus to do that. And I did it without having a permanent home. So I'm very proud of myself. So now that we've built it, let's fly, okay? So the last thing I want to say is to achieve anything, it always involves the right people coming together to do the simplest things, right? It might be making an aligned introduction to somebody. It might be making certain tools or resources available to somebody. It might be actually hiring me or hiring you if you're trying to build a dream so they can become your first customer or your next client. They're not very difficult things to do, especially in numbers. So really, let's go. Let's make this work. And DM me if you have anything that you'd like to share about yourself, about your journey. Let us know in the comments what your dream is. And as I said, please, guys, Let's be supportive. Let's be kind. This is not a space for any negativity or any judgment or any tearing down. There's a lot of other places for that. Not here, okay? So let's spread the love and keep your love light on. I need to be in the right places with the right people. That's the solution for someone like me. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and till next time.